It pays to belong. The Affinity Discount. Another way to save on insurance. From your local agent, Charles Wallace. For info, call 302-998-1412 or go to charleswallaceinsurance.net.
And now, the football game of the week on Fox Sports 1290. Delaware sports play here.
Welcome back to Raider Stadium. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan, Benny Pinella back in our Newcastle studio, keeping us up and running. Middletown has won the toss. They have elected to receive. They will be defending what would have to be considered the west side of Coach K Field here, named after longtime coach George Kasanovich, who is actually still the freshman coach for the Concord Raiders. It is brisk. It's 50 degrees right now. High today is supposed to be around 56. While we are here, there's a slight wind, 7 to 10 miles per hour. We'll see if that impacts either of the kickers on this team. Both these teams have good kickers in Caleb Bierlein for Middletown and Tyler McGarvey for the Concord Raiders. And so kicking off will be McCarvey, and heading back deep to receive for Middletown is Ernest Washington, our DFRC player watch last week in Middletown's game. And so McGarvey is getting ready to kick off. And actually it looks like kicking off instead is number 29. We don't have 29 on our roster. We'll try to find out who that is. And the kick is away. It's a little bit of a squib kick, and it bounces around. They're trying to scoop it up. Kedrick Whitehead picks it up on the 20-yard line and brought down by Concord back at the 15. So a good start by the kicking team for Concord.
A great job by Concord with the little squib kick there. Sort of caught Middletown off guard. It was perfectly placed down the left sideline. Kedrick Whitehead and company, all kinds of trouble picking it up. So Middletown start deep in their own position. Middletown, of course, along with Smyrna, two of the only teams in the state that elect to receive the opening kickoff with the power of their offenses.
And that offense is powered by Drew Fry, only a junior. Many consider him to be the top quarterback in the state. He comes in with 13 touchdowns through the air and 6 on the ground. So a weapon with his arm and with his feet. And they give us to Kedrick Whitehead. He goes over the left tackle. Pickup of about 4 to the 18-yard line is where they're going to set that up.
This is going to be the story of the game, is whether the Concord defensive line can hold up against Middletown. They have one of the best offensive lines in the state. In fact, we're going to see two of the better offensive lines in the state in Concord and Middletown. Nice 4-yard gain there to start things for Kedrick Whitehead, but it's going to be a long day for the Concord defense if they're not able to get some penetration at the point of contact.
Going to bring up a 2nd and 7. Edeline is lined up on the far right, and Whitehead in the I formation to give us to Whitehead this time. He comes to the right and he gets stacked up. A flag is down. Going to be no gain as it stands right now. We'll see what the flag is.
That's a really nice job again by the defensive line. Tommy Brown, the 6'2", 380-pound defensive tackle for Concord. If you watch him on tape, he's coming out of the game right now. He doesn't get a lot of penetration, but what he does is take up 2 offensive linemen to block him, so it allows the linebackers to slip into one of those gaps, and that's what happened there. Stop Whitehead for virtually no gain.
And it's going to be a chop block against Middletown. So not only did they stop Whitehead, they're going to take them back, and they're going to end up marking the ball. They're still marching it off, and it looks like it's going to go back to about the 9-yard line where they set it down there. So it's going to bring up a 2nd down, and looks like about 16.
It's amazing. This is usually a death sentence for any drive, a team that gets pinned back like this. 2nd and long. Middletown's one of the few teams in the state that can turn this into a scoring opportunity real quick.
And we'll see if they can do just that. 3 wide receivers out to the right. Fry drops back. He's looking down, and he's got his man. That's Edeline. Edeline catches at the 45, and there is nobody within 15 yards of him. He's going to take it all the way. A 91-yard touchdown for Kenny Edeline.
I just said it. They're one of the only teams that can do that. And the interesting thing is that Jeffrey Lockwood, the defensive back, the senior defensive back for Concord, who's usually very solid, he handed Edeline off to what he thought was going to be safety help over the top. Nobody was home, and that was just an easy pitch and catch for Drew Fry and Kenny Edeline.
And that's the 4th touchdown for Kenny, and it's going to bring on the extra point kicker, who is Kayla Bierlein. And what a sensational season she had. One of a couple of female kickers this year in Delaware. 39 of 44 extra points.
And you and I have talked about that. That is such a weapon in the state of Delaware, where we don't have a lot of kickers that consistently convert them.
Nick Johnston is in on the hold. Just 10:48 to play here in the first quarter. It's already 6-0. The kick is up, and it is good. So just 12 seconds into a minute and 12 seconds into the game, and Middletown, the top-ranked team in the state, has jumped out to a 7-0 lead. You're listening to Fox Sports 1290 Game of the Week and watching it live on 302 Sports.
Hi, this is Tom Suter of Crown Trophy and People's Plaza, and I'm a proud supporter of high school football and basketball on Fox Sports 1290 AM. Crown Trophy is the supplier of the weekly Fox Sports Player of the Game Award. If it's trophies you need, Crown Trophy has in every shape, style, and finish imaginable. Come see us in Newark and Wilmington, and also at crowntrophy.com. Crown Trophy, the official supplier of the Delaware High School State Championship Trophy and proud partner of Fox Sports 1290 AM.
Welcome back to the Delaware High School Football Game of the Week on Fox Sports 1290.
Welcome back. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan on what was officially the second play from scrimmage. Drew Fry found Kenny Edelin on a 91-yard post-pattern touchdown, and the Cavaliers are up 7-0 as Caleb Bierlein gets ready to kick it off. And the kick is going to bounce at the 35. It bounces around. Concord finally picks it up, and across the 30 to the 34-yard line. That was Roland Buford, who's going to give Concord decent field position. Looks like they're going to end up marking it at the 35-yard line.
Now, one of the areas Concord has been strong in throughout the season is in their return game. So that's a nice job by the Middletown coaches, having Caleb Bierlein drop that in between. You don't mind if you're the Middletown defense. Concord's setting up shop at their own 35.
And so coming out for the Concord Raiders is senior Dylan Kokenauer. Hasn't started since Game 4. Had an injury. Comes in throwing 51%, and he gets back to Bam Roberts, and he gets hit immediately and brought down by Jonathan Smith, his 55th tackle on the season.
Jonathan Smith was all over that. There was no hesitation at the snap. He directly made a beeline for Graham Roberts and took him down immediately. And unfortunately, you're not really rolling the dice when you do that with this Concord offense. Graham Roberts will handle the majority of the load here, though they do have some really good athletes on this offense.
Graham Roberts actually checks out after the first play. He came in having rushed for 1,274 yards, an average of 8.9, and a team leading 19 touchdowns. Not sure. It's odd to see him check out.
It's very odd, but yeah, it is. It's interesting. He's not getting any attention, just getting a drink on the sideline, but it is odd to see him out at this point.
It was Roland Buford who has checked back in. He, of course, is on the kicking team, and it's going to bring up a 2nd and 14. And a fumble, and Kokenau dives for it. I don't think he got it. I think it's going to be Middletown ball.
Yeah, unfortunately, as soon as Graham, I said they struggle when Graham leaves the game. I didn't necessarily mean turning the ball over, but right there, all of a sudden, lightning strikes. They turn the ball over deep in their own territory, and a Concord team that is by no means a quick strike offense anyway can't afford to dig themselves an early hole.
And so what is the top-ranked team in the state, the Middletown Cavaliers, playing exactly like that, and they're going to have the ball 1st and 10 on the Concord 26-yard line. So if you're Concord here on Senior Day, it couldn't have gotten any worse as far as the start. Drew Fry in. He's got 2 guys off to his left, and the give is going to be Kedrick Whitehead. Whitehead barreling his way, taking the Concord defenders with him all the way to the 28-yard line. And to the 18-yard line. Will bring up a 2nd and short.
If you have access to as much game tape as we do, you've seen that play. It looks like deja vu. They do that all the time. This offensive line drives forward. Kedrick Whitehead positions himself right in behind them. They push the defense back, and it's so difficult to get any traction if you're the D-line.
Kedrick Whitehead in the backfield. 3 wide receivers out to the left on the 2nd and short here. Looks like about 2 yards. The pitch is to Whitehead. He's trying to get around the end. He gets by Bam Roberts. A flag is on the play. Whitehead gets into they haven't made the signal yet. Nobody's made a actually stepped out of bounds over on the 10-yard line.
And John, this flag came from about 30 yards away from where the play actually took place.
And it's going to be
another chop block. Wow.
So that's their second chop block in their second series here. So
this is something schematically that they're going to have to address quickly. It may be something that they do all the time that this umpiring crew, officiating crew is picking up on, but it's certainly something they have to get fixed quickly. They can't afford to keep getting these 15-yard penalties.
We haven't seen many chop blocks at all.
We haven't.
And I know we haven't called two chop blocks in the same game. And so, and again, it might be something like you are suggesting that they picked up on, or, I think sometimes, Marty, once you see a chop block, you start looking for the chop block for the officials, and there's nothing wrong with that.
That's just it. If Concord had pointed that out and the officials are looking for it.
And so it's 7-0 Middletown, 8:58 to play here in the first quarter, and the give is to Whitehead on the jet sweep on second and long, and he shakes off a couple tackers. He has a first down, still on his feet, finally knocked out of bounds by Buford, but not until he gets down to about the 6-yard line, going to bring up a first and goal.
This is a wrinkle they haven't used too many times this season, using Whitehead in that jet sweep. They use it a few times a game, but it's become such a weapon for them. He's used to lining up in the eye right behind Drew Fryer, right next to him, in the shotgun. But once he gets a head of steam going, he turns the corner so quickly. It's very tough, and Middletown is known for getting very good blocking on the outside from the wide receiving core, especially Edel and Johnston.
First and goal, ball on the 6-yard line. Middletown moving left to right as we see it in their all-white uniforms, royal blue helmets. And the give is to Whitehead. He's trying to inch his way through the Concord defense. Going to pick up a couple yards, looks like to about the 4-yard line, inside the 5 for sure. Going to bring up a second and goal.
It looks like Middletown has picked up something on tape. They've consistently attacked the left side of that Concord line, and they're getting a push on every play. They're getting at least 2, 3, 4, 5 yards a carry, and that starts to add up. It starts to wear down the defense, and of course Concord, the defense has been on the field almost exclusively in this quarter thus far.
And this quarter has 8:15 to go. Middletown with a 7-0 lead. Edelin is lined up far right along with Johnston. Drew Fry rolls out to his right. He's being chased. Throws across his body. Finds Edelin in the back of the end zone for the score.
There's just nothing you can do about that. Not many quarterbacks in the state. Nolan Henderson maybe last year. There's a few guys this year. When you have the arm, usually you never want a quarterback to throw back across the middle of the field across his body. That was a perfect job by Drew Fry. He rifled in there to Edelin, who has a great knack for just finding the soft spot in defenses and sitting down. He did it there, and real quick, we have 13-0 score for Middletown.
With 8:03 to play, Caleb Bierlein on to kick. Nicky Johnston with the hold on the 10-yard line. Johnston, our Crown Trophy player of the game last week for his 2 scoring touchdowns in the big win over Newark. The snap is back. There is a slight wind. The kick is up. And this is no good. This is going to be off to the left. So with 8:03 to play, Middletown a 13-0 lead over Concord here on Fox Sports 1290 and 302 Sports.
American Spirit Federal Credit Union brings you Kasasa. What's Kasasa? It's a catchy word for earning cash that just might make you want to dance. Get paid for doing simple things you do anyway. That's free Kasasa checking. Ask for Kasasa by name at American Spirit Federal Credit Union.
High school football on Fox Sports 1290, foxsports1290am.com, and iHeartRadio Fox Sports 1290.
Welcome back to Raider Stadium at Concord High. It's senior day here. Unfortunately, the Raiders have fallen behind early, 13-0, 8:03 to play, and they are trailing the Middletown Cavaliers, the top team in the state. Bierlein kicks off. Nemhard takes it on the 25-yard line and runs it up along the right hash mark to the 33, where the Raiders will take over.
Nemhard's been a little dangerous on the return game for Concord, so good job by the Middletown kick coverage team to get down here and then squash that before any chance to get going.
And so Kokenauer comes onto the field, his final game most likely here. Concord with very, very, very slim playoff hopes, according to anybody you talk to, including head coach Greg Mitchell. So it will be 1st and 10, ball on the 33-yard line. And Kokenauer drops back. He looks down the middle, and he finds his man. That's Elijah Hall. Big hit by Nicky Johnston, but not until Hall hauled it in at the Middletown 48.
That was perfectly executed by Concord. A great throw by Kokenauer. Not something we've seen them do a lot this season. Middletown has one of the best defensive backfields in the state. Johnston looked like I thought he was going to come up with a big hit there to dislodge that. He actually moved off to the side, and who knows, the new rules with that may have had something to do with that, but wasn't able to jar the ball loose.
A perfect throw for Kokenauer, who, again, if you're just tuning in, was hurt in Game 4, played sporadically last week and getting his first start there. And there's a fumble. One fumble already has cost the Raiders, but this time Kokenauer is able to fall on it, so it's basically just a wasted play, going to cost him 1 yard back to the 49.
And as you were just alluding to, John, Kokenauer hasn't played all season. He's been in and out of the lineup, I should say. Adam Tomer has been filling in for the last couple of weeks. Kokenauer did come in at the beginning of last week's game, but you never know what kind of practice time he's been able to get during the week.
And we're not sure what the injury was. It was not disclosed to us. A tight formation there. Kokenauer is going to drop back to pass, looking for his man, and it's tipped around. He was trying to hit Justin Foster, his big tight end, incomplete.
The defensive back there getting in front of that and cutting it off. I'm not sure if he got a hand on it or not, but he did disrupt the line of sight anyway, prevent that from being completed. Again, for the second time in a row, that was an on-target pass from Dylan Kokenauer, so he's come out looking really strong right out of the gate.
The quarterback situation for Concord for the last several years has been iffy. It seems every time we do a Concord game, a quarterback's either not playing or he's just coming back. So. When you had the talent at the running back position they've had, when you don't have the stability at quarterback, that becomes a problem. Speaking of the running situation, Robert takes the handoff up the middle, and he looks like he picked up about 5. They're going to mark it at the 44-yard line, and they're going to bring up 4th down.
That's an interesting call. It's 3rd and long, and I'm guessing they didn't want Middletown to be able to sit back there on the pass. Again, they do have a very strong defensive backfield. So, it never hurts to run Ben Roberts up the middle. He's broken enough of those where you can feel confident that there's at least a chance that could happen. But this is a great decision to punt here. You don't want to give Middletown good field position.
In the punt is Adam Tomer, who hasn't had much of the punting duties this season, at least from what I saw.
And that's probably important to point out from a fake punt point of view. You have the backup quarterback in there.
And so, if nothing else, you're making Middletown think. And you don't need a long punt. You just need one that's effective, and this one is. And it's Washington back. They're going to let it bounce. It's going to take a Concord bounce, and it's going to end up on the 10-yard line. So I like the strategy.
I think they may have found a new punter. Yeah, Adam Tomer, great. The left-footed punter. That's the Bill Belichick special there. He loves those left-footed punters. A great job of angling that to the sideline. It took a nice little bounce sideways back into the field of play. Comes down at the 10-yard line, and I feel real confident, except for the fact that Middletown already has a 91-yard touchdown pass in this game.
And they're 2 for 2.
Yes, they are.
But Fry to Edelin for the 2 touchdown scores there, whereas Concord's results, their plays have resulted in a fumble and then a punt.
No, they still don't have a first down, I believe, John, the Concord offense, if I'm not mistaken.
They had the one pass to Nicky
Johnson. Oh, they did. You're right. The
one
down the middle. That's right.
Yep. But didn't on their first series, you're right. So it's going to be a 1st and 10 on the 10. 3 wide receivers out to the right. Middletown moving left to right as we see it. The pitch is to the right. He's forced out of bounds by Bam Roberts. No gain on the play. Going to bring up a 2nd and 10.
Great job by the Concord defense there. That's that little pitch play to the running back. Just a sideways, almost a lateral type pitch that's become all the rage now in college and pro football as well. That time it was to the short side of the field. Concord did a really nice job getting over there, cutting off any angle that Kedrick Whitehead may have had.
Looks like they're going to mark it just shy of the 11-yard line, bring up a 2nd and 9 officially for the Cavaliers. Middletown, of course, undefeated. A win today would set up, most likely, if Hodson wins this afternoon, most likely would set up a showdown in Week 10 between the 2 schools, Middletown and Hodson. The winner would be the Blue Hen Conference Championship. And the give is up the middle, and it is to Raekwon Green. Hasn't seen much action at running back, but getting a chance to here in Week 9, and it's going to be a loss of 1 and bring up a 3rd down.
Yeah, Raekwon Green, if you're a Middletown fan, he's most known for leading the team with 4 interceptions, getting a rare carry there on offense, giving Kedrick Whitehead a playoff. And again, there's a lot of good athletes in this Middletown backfield as well. They do a lot of switching. They do enough to keep Kedrick Whitehead fresh. Plus, he's averaging close to 11 yards a carry on the season.
Line up on the right hash mark, moving left to right as we see it. Middletown has 3 wide receivers out to the right. Edelin is out to the left. Kedrick Whitehead now heading out in motion to the left, and it's a quick give over to the right, and it's juggled there by Edelin, and Edelin gets pushed out of bounds. Does a nice job hanging onto the ball, and it is going to be enough for the first down.
Edelin has a reputation for having some of the best hands in the state. You saw it there. Unfortunately for Middletown, because of Edelin's speed, you have to give a little cushion to him, and that time it allowed him to bobble the ball, recover enough to pick up the first down.
And the first down it's going to be with the ball on the 22-yard line for Drew Fry and the Middletown Cavaliers here. Not in any rush. You don't want to say the clock's on their side already. There was 5:07 left to play. They got, in the first quarter, a 13-0 lead. They give us to Whitehead. He's coming to the short side of the field, around to the right, and he gets hammered out of bounds there. A nice tackle by Roland Buford.
That was a nice job there. Drew Fry had the option play there with Kedrick Whitehead. If Drew had kept it, he was going to get lit up, so it was a nice job to dump that off to Kedrick Whitehead. If you're the quarterback, John, I can tell you it's always better to let the running back take the big hit.
And the running back did take the big hit, but held on to the ball. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 6 with the ball on the 27-yard line for Middletown. And Middletown's going with they're huddling more.
They are.
We've seen in the
more
past.
Deliberate today.
And maybe that's something that Zach Blum realizes he may need to incorporate sometime in the playoffs. Whitehead gets the ball up the middle, and he barrels forward to about the 32-yard line before he's brought down by number 62, Malik Wright.
Cade Kruger, the offensive lineman, did a great job getting out in front of that, clearing out that space to allow Whitehead to get in between the tackle and the guard. Nice pickup for Middletown. And you feel like it's early in the game, but you feel like defensively this is already a big series of downs for Concord. They don't want to let this get any worse. And frankly, they've been on the field a long time so far. So Middletown is big up front. They're going to wear down this Concord team eventually.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up. If nothing else, you want to get Middletown off the field so your defense can get off the field. First down play is Whitehead up the middle. Whitehead barreling the line forward up to about the 44-yard line. Going to bring up a 2nd and 4.
Whitehead's got a thick base. He's able to get through a lot of those arm tackles. Even when you try to wrap him up around the thigh or knee area, he's able to drag tacklers. And you see right there, nice pickup of 7 yards on first down.
Whitehead has played in the shadows of Will Knight.
He has.
And Letty Brown last year.
Dan Roberts.
And Dan Roberts. But yet Whitehead is another in a long list of powerful running backs who have played here for the Cavaliers. Jamar Baynard, one of them, went on to Wesley, I believe, to play. And so Kedrick Whitehead certainly has carried the load here for the last 2 seasons for the Cavaliers. 2nd and 4 ball on the 44-yard line. Fry drops back. He's looking over to the left and overthrows his man. Is trying to hit Larry Griffin, who came to the game with 9 receptions. Going to bring up a 3rd down.
Yeah, rare miss there for Fry to Larry Griffin. And almost the way he threw that ball, it almost looked like he expected Griffin to cut that off a little later than he did. Maybe 3 or 4 more yards down the field. It was just over Griffin's head.
And so it's going to bring up a 3rd and 4 with the ball on the 44-yard line. And again, they're signaling in the plays to Drew Fry, who certainly is in no rush here in the huddle.
No. And this is, talking about Kedrick Whitehead, he's had the misfortune or fortune, whichever way you look at it, of always having a good quarterback to play with. So it kind of offsets what they do in the running game.
Yeah, the quarterbacks have benefited from the running backs, and the running backs from the quarterbacks. It's a quick out to Johnston on the slant, and he catches it and gets tackled and rolls over into the first down to the 46-yard line. I like that call.
I do too. It's a great use of Johnston when they put him in the slot. He's big enough to fight off the safety that may have to cover him over there, and he's quick enough to break through. So a really nice job. He, along with Edelin, again, really good hands. There's very, very few drops between the two of them.
Johnston's 25th reception on the season. He had the 2 touchdown catches last week in the win over Newark. He's got 7 on the season. He was our Crown Trophy Player of the Week last week. 1st and 10 ball on the 46-yard line. Going in motion is Raekwon Green. It's a fake to Green, and Fry keeps it, shows his legs, and picks up about 8 yards to the 37-yard line. So a nice run there by Drew Fry.
Yeah, we talked about that in the pregame show. That's something that he can do. They don't do a ton of scripted runs, but when they do, he's smart enough to get out there, find the hole. He's also usually smart enough to get down and position his body to avoid the big hit. Something that once he gets to the next level, he he may not be doing a lot more of what we just saw.
Second and about 1 for Middletown, approaching the 2-minute mark here in the first quarter. The Cavaliers with a 13-0 lead, 2 touchdown passes from Drew Fry to Kenny Edelin for the scores for Middletown. This drive has already taken up over 4 minutes.
I was going to say, this may be one of their longest drives that I've seen on tape.
Kedrick Whitehead goes in motion from left to right. Fry drops back, and he's looking deep. There is a flag down, overthrows his man. He was trying to hit Larry Griffin, and this one is going to come back.
Yeah, we're going to get an illegal shift on Middletown. 2 guys moving at the same time, and just as well. And I'm guessing in the box here we can feel the breeze. I'm wondering if it's a little stronger on the field, because that time Fry had his receiver wide open, Larry Griffin, but threw that ball a good 3, 4, 5 yards out of bounds.
And it looks like if you look at the flags on top of the field goal marker,
it is going that way.
Yeah, so he very well could have gotten a little wind behind it. He throws such a sharp ball, a sharp, tight spiral.
Usually the wind doesn't affect him very much. It cuts through.
And so after the penalty, it's going to bring up a 2nd and 6. They mark it on the Concord 42-yard line. Don't forget, later today, the Blue Hens take on Maine at 2 o'clock, and you can hear all the action starting with Blue Hens game day at 1 o'clock with Scott Klatskin and the gang on our sister station, 94.7 WDSD. 2nd and 6, ball on the Concord 42. It's a pitch to Kedrick Whitehead. He's trying to get around the edge. He escapes one tackle by Ben Roberts and then out of bounds, and so he picks up enough. It's going to be close. They haven't moved the chains yet.
Yeah, beast on beast in that one. Bam Roberts is one of the few guys that Kedrick Whitehead is probably not going to be able to run away from with ease. That time, Roberts did enough to prevent that first down. He angled Whitehead enough to the sideline where Whitehead was forced to go out of bounds short of the marker.
And so it's going to be a 3rd and 1. I would think this is 2-down territory for the Middletown Cavaliers unless Zach Blum wants to have his punting unit practice, something they don't do very often in live game situations. 3rd and 1, ball on the 41-yard line. Middletown moving left to right with a 13-0 lead, and the give is to Whitehead. Flag is down, and if the play stands, it will be a first down. If not, it will bring up a 3rd and 6. We'll see what the call is. The refs are huddling together here.
It feels like this was in the area again of either offsides or another illegal shift.
They've spotted the ball at the 27-yard line. Neither team has moved. And so I don't think either team has a good indication of who that penalty might be against.
And apparently neither do the referees for the most part.
2 guys in black hats are discussing it. And the referee is just listening here. And so we will see what happens. And here we go. We're about to get an official call. They're going to pick the flag up.
I always find that incredibly interesting. You threw it for a reason. There had to be something going on there. And then he's the one who called the other refs in to discuss it and then picked it up. So,
and it was the line judge
who threw the flag.
So he saw something, and for some reason it was picked up.
You know, what that makes me think is that maybe he didn't think people were lined up properly on the line of scrimmage. There was either too many or too few, and found out from the other officials that they were lined up correctly.
And that could be, yeah, because they don't usually pick it up for a motion situation or illegal motion. Once that's seen, it's seen. So first down for Middletown. And the give is up the middle to Green, and he is stopped after a pickup of about 2. They're going to mark it on the 25-yard line.
You almost get a feeling that the use of Green today is setting something up for maybe the postseason where they're going to try to do some different things, because he really has not gotten a lot of carries by my estimation. No, he's not even listed among their top 4 ball carriers.
Yeah, I don't have him on my sheet, which means he's not usually a running back.
No.
But you know what they're probably trying to do, Marty, is, we talked about, one of the drawbacks for Concord this season has been been the Bam Roberts show.
Yes.
And you can key on that. And Middletown's in the same situation. The only guy in the backfield who you really, really have keyed on is Whitehead.
True.
And Green gives them another one. Quick out to Edelin. And Edelin dodges one tackler, is taken down by Bam Roberts and a couple other Raiders, but not until he picks up another first down on the 10-yard line.
You're in such a tough situation when it comes to defending Edelin. You want to get up on him. You don't want to give him that cushion because he's so quick off the ball. But Fry has such a strong arm that if you get up on him in a man-to-man press situation and Fry gives the slightest pump fake, Edelin's gone. So you're really kind of in a no man's land where you have to give him at least a few yards of cushion.
First and goal, ball on the 9-yard line, 22 seconds left. They are going to have to run a play before the quarter's out, but they have taken up almost the entire second half of this first quarter, and it's a quick out, and he has his man, and Teagle has it, and they're going to mark it down at about the 4-yard line before he is pushed back, and time is going to run out here in the first quarter. So we will be right back at the end of the first quarter. Middletown, the top-ranked team in the state, with a 13-0 lead over the Concord Raiders. You're listening to Fox Sports 1290 Game of the Week. You're watching it live on 302 Sports.
School bus drivers, custodians, nurses, paraeducators, just a few of the education support professionals who help schools in Delaware run smoothly every day. This is Mike Matthews, president of the Delaware State Education Association. Ensure that our students have a safe ride to school, healthy meals, and a clean environment to learn.
With this long time-consuming drive.
And so it's going to be a second and goal, ball on the 4-yard line. Drew Fry takes the snap, and he's just going to take it up the middle and score. So Drew Fry rumbles in with his 7th rushing touchdown of the season. It's 19-0 Middletown.
Now, we talked about when you key on people in the Middletown backfield or the receivers, you always have to account for Fry down here. That time he goes untouched into the end zone as the defensive line goes after Kedrick Whitehead, and there's just so many weapons there to choose from. It's kind of an embarrassment of riches for this Middletown team. Concord, the one thing you could say is they forced Middletown to take a long time on this drive. The other thing you have to say is that Concord's offense needs to get going on this next drive, if nothing else, to give their defense a break.
A 16-play, 90-yard drive for the Cavaliers, capped off by Fry's 4-yard scamper into the end zone. Beerline is on. The snap is back. The hold is down by Johnson. The kick is up and good. So with 11:57 to play here at the very beginning of the second quarter, Middletown has extended their lead to 20-0 here on Fox Sports 1290 and 302 Sports.
Navy Federal is proud to serve over 1 million veterans and their families.
Navy Federal, they have an understanding of who I am and where I come from, and I have that same understanding of them. Never had an issue with a loan, whether it be a vehicle loan or home equity loan. That's how you build trust.
Our veterans share more than just a credit union. Visit NavyFederal.org for more information. Open to everyone in the armed forces, the DoD, veterans, and their families. The Navy Federal Credit Union. Equal housing lender. Federally insured by NCUA. Members are compensated for their participation.
High school football on Fox Sports 1290, foxsports1290am.com, and iHeartRadio Fox Sports 1290.
Welcome back to Raider Stadium at Concord High. Middletown with a 20-0 lead. Caleb Beerline lets it fly. Jasper Brown takes it for Concord at the 20-yard line. Spins up through the middle and around, brought down at the 26-yard line where Concord will take over. 1st and 10.
Now Concord's in a must-move-the-ball situation. Again, you almost feel like, you hate to say this early in the second quarter that you need points, but it feels like they need to do something here, even if it's put a few plays together, pick up a few first downs. I mean, they're in danger. Frankly, most people looking or listening to this game are thinking this game's over because Concord just doesn't have the firepower to come back that quickly. So it's a big, big drive for Concord.
It's also a big drive for Concord to keep their defense off the field. They've been on the field the majority of this game, including the final 6 minutes of the first quarter. Kokenauer under center, and the give is to Nemhart. Nemhart gets wrapped up and brought down by Cameron Williams, who will bring up a second down after a loss of 2.
Cameron Williams just knifed through the line there. A great job picking off Nemhart as soon as he got the ball, just not allowing him. Wasn't able to bring him down immediately, but enough to slow him down so another tackler could come in and finish him off.
Howard leading Christiana 6-0 in another Saturday morning special game here. Quite a few games this Saturday.
Yes.
William Penn taking on St. George's later today in a big game at 2 o'clock. A lot of the afternoon games pushed back an hour because of SAT score. 2nd and 12, ball on the 25. Kokenauer drops back, throws it out, and Nemhart brings it in, but then gets hammered. And that was a huge hit by Michael Wilson. I don't know how Nemhart hung on to that ball.
I don't either. A perfectly clean hit by Michael Wilson, but an absolute drilling there. It prevents any kind of gain, bringing up a 3rd and long. And Graham Roberts has not been in on this drive. I'm not sure. We saw him go out early. He has not been in at all at this drive. I've been looking for him on the sideline. I don't see him, but he has not been in for either of the plays on this drive thus far.
Yeah, no, I don't see him either. We'll keep looking, but in is Nemhart in his place. Nemhart came in with 157 rushing yards and 10 receptions, and you're not going to get hit harder than he just got hit. 3rd and 12, and a little confusion there to give is to Dennis, and Dennis is only going to pick up about 2 yards, going to bring up a punting situation.
Yeah, Dennis is a kid. It's kind of a shame the way his career is ending. He was a kid. He had an ACL injury last year. He was such a good basketball and football player. I mean, he still is. I'm not saying he's not, but he was definitely slowed down by that injury. But he's a kid with a ton of potential. I think he was so much fun to watch in his sophomore season, both on the court and on the football field.
Adam Tomer is in to punt for Concord. Ernest Washington lined up back at his own 42-yard line. Some confusion there for Concord with the punting unit coming in. 9:42 to play. Clock running here in the second quarter. Middletown going to get the ball back with a 20-0 lead. Snap is back. The left-footed punt. He's not even going to give Ernest Washington a chance to return it, which is probably a smart move.
Yes.
And it's going to be down by Jasper Brown at the Concord 47-yard line. That's where Middletown will take over.
And Concord, I did find Bam Roberts. He's been consulting with a trainer for quite a while now on the sideline. We're not sure what's going on with him. He's directly in front of us outside of the box, but he appears to be walking a little gingerly, actually. So hopefully that's nothing serious. He's a tremendously talented kid, and who knows, possibly joining brother Avery at Nebraska next year, though the coaching situation may have something to do with that decision. Either way, a really, really talented kid who's going to make an impact on the next level.
And so they're not going to risk anything here. Concord really not playing for a whole lot to begin with, and now they're down 20-0. And
this would be a shame. It is senior day because of a scheduling snafu. This is it for them.
Pitches to Whitehead around the right, gets hit a couple times, and ends up just dancing out of bounds, and they're going to mark it at the 42-yard line, knocked out of bounds by Brandon Dennis.
Whitehead has such a great ability to bounce off people. I mean, he's 6'2", he's about 180 pounds. He's one of the bigger backs in terms of height in the state. That's a feature back, but he does a really nice job of getting low, lowering his pad level, and fighting off tacklers. Again, whether you try to arm tackle him or go up high, you're going to have a really hard time. You have to really wrap him up low.
Going to bring up a 2nd and 4, ball on the 42-yard line. Middletown moving right to left in Concord territory. Nicky Johnston goes in motion right to left, joins the other 2 wide receivers on the left. Fry's ball is tipped away. Looked like Justin Foster, the big linebacker, got his mitts on that one.
Yeah, nice job. 6'2", 230-pound Justin Foster getting his hands up there to knock down that pass. I didn't see if the receiver was going to be able to run for a while, but you always love to be able to knock down a Drew Fry pass at the line. There's so many athletes that can make something happen. If it finds its way into the hands of one of them, he could be in trouble.
And so we'll bring up a 3rd and 4, ball on the 42-yard line. This would be an interesting call if they don't make it.
I agree.
You're in a situation where you would normally punt, but you do have a 20-0 lead.
Yes.
But we're only not even halfway through the second quarter. Two wide receivers lined up on both sides of the field, and it is a quick out. He's got his man Griffin at the 40-yard line, who gets down to the 34-yard line before he is brought down by Lennox Nemhart for Nemhart, his 20th tackle on the season.
They're really doing a good job getting the ball to Griffin. He's been a little bit of a factor here today. Again, another weapon in that arsenal for Drew Fry. There's just so many to account for, and again, I've said it before, but the cushion that they're forced to give these receivers allows Fry to hit those really quick outs, and then if they get a block or the receiver's able to make a one-on-one move, all of a sudden it's a first down.
Griffin came in with 9 receptions, a junior, so again, I think they're trying to add to their weapons going into the playoffs here. First down, and speaking of weapons, Raekwon Green getting a rare carry for the season, had a 3 or 4 today. A flag comes in late. If it stands, it's going to be at the 34-yard line, so no gain, but judging on the reaction of the Concord coaching staff, this flag is going to be against Concord.
Actually looks like it's going to be a hold on Middletown.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I think they signaled hold on Middletown. That flag sort of came in with some harmful intent. That thing was sort of like a missile into that pile there, so he certainly wanted to make sure that holding call, that flag was seen.
And so they're going to decline the penalty.
That's interesting. I guess you don't want to. I'm not sure I understand on first down. Well, let's see, they're moving it. It's now going to be second and 10. I'm still not sure I understand that. I'd want to push Middletown as far back from the goal line as I could.
And it's not like it would have been close to where it was after the shot, because the hold happened right at the 34-yard line. So an interesting decision. I guess the less chances you give, and you've said
that's what they're,
as we saw right off the bat, 91-yard touchdown. Middletown can strike from anywhere. Why give them any extra plays? And so it's second and 10, ball on the 34-yard line. Nicky Johnson goes in motion. Fry looking deep. He's got his man Edeling, reaches out, and nothing but hands with a touchdown.
John, Fry threw that 45 yards in the air off of his back foot. Now, he didn't have to put a lot on it because Edelin had created some separation. But, again, that's just one of those things. Edelin put on a little bit of a move, made his way past the defensive back. And when you have a quarterback who can put even a little bit of mustard on that distance, again, throwing off his back foot from about the 45-yard line. Edelin with the great hands to stretch out and haul that one in. And it's safe to say that Concord's in dire straits right now.
6 plays, 53 yards, and it is now 26-0. Middletown over Concord, 8:04 to play. Beerline in to attempt her extra point. It will be her 42nd of the year if it's good. Snap is back, almost blocked.
That's going to be offside on Concord. Yeah, they tried to get a little jump on that. That was Jasper Brown, the senior, coming off the edge, but a little too quickly there. I'm guessing that's a little frustration coming out where you're going all out to block the extra point like that, but
and you got nothing to lose.
You don't.
Like Beerline.
Yep.
Who's going to make it?
No, she's almost automatic. She only missed 6 all season.
And so Concord's first penalty, the one positive they've got is they've played a perfectly clean game until that point from the penalty standpoint, whereas Middletown's got 3, hasn't hurt them.
And you got to give Middletown credit. They did correct that chop block situation. I have not seen that called since the second occasion.
Nice job by defensive coordinator Jake Smolsky for Middletown to remedy that situation. Snap is back, kick is up, and Beerline makes no doubt about this as it almost lands on the track. So with 8:04 to play here in the second quarter, the top-ranked Middletown Cavaliers have a 27-0 lead over the Concord Raiders. You're listening to the Game of the Week on Fox Sports 1290 and watching it live on 302 Sports.
Right now, there's a girl in India who has dreams bigger than her village. Right now, there's an elder in Guatemala who dreams of a life of greater dignity and less loneliness. You can help change the future of one person in a single moment. Begin the change at unbound.org.
From the PriceToyota.com studios, a great price, an even better value. This is Fox Sports 1290, WWGX Wilmington.
Welcome back to Raider Stadium here in North Wilmington. Concord High
Football Game of the Week on Fox Sports 1290.
Welcome back to Raider Stadium here at Concord High in North Wilmington, a special morning edition of the Fox Sports 1290 Game of the Week. It's been a good one so far for Middletown, a 27-0 lead. Fry to Edelin has amounted for 3 of the scores, and Fry running in the 4th touchdown. So the dynamic duo, very effective today. Beerline kicks it off, and Nemhart picks it up on his own 11-yard line, looking for some room up the middle, dodges a couple tackles before he's finally brought down at the 25-yard line. And if it wasn't desperation before, Marty, needing to score, it certainly is now.
It absolutely is, and unfortunately, judging by the body language and the people coming up and slapping him on the helmet, giving him hugs, I'm guessing we've seen the last of Bam Roberts at Concord, which is a shame on senior day. He's a kid who's done so much, but of course it makes, in this, just specific to this game, it makes the uphill climb almost nearly impossible for this Concord team.
Yeah, Bam Roberts and his breakaway speed and his ability to score quickly was the one thing that Concord had going for them. Dennis now in the backfield, and Nemhart, and on the jet sweep, Nemhart gets it, fumbles it, and the ball is picked up, and rumbling in from about 15 yards out is Jordan Cruz for the score.
Jordan Cruz with one of the easiest scores, and they're going to have a good night in the Cruz household after that one. The ball that's the third time I think we've seen a bobble from Kokenauer. It's kind of strange that that's happening, but ball got away from him. He batted it. The ball took a little nice, one of those shortstop friendly hops right up to Cruz, who ran it in for the touchdown.
And so things continue to not go their way for the Concord Raiders here on senior day, as that 12 to 15 yard, depending on where you count, where he actually got a hold of it, return by Cruz for the score. And like you said, that certainly made that young man's day. He is senior as well. Beerline is in, trying to extend the 33-0 lead. One more. The snap is back.
And Concord is offside again, I believe. There was a little, the holder, Johnston, called for the snap, and I'm wondering if they're going to get him. Apparently that was an unsportsmanlike conduct on Concord, which I'm wondering, they have that odd rule where you can't hit the center. Right. Not an odd rule, it's for safety, and I wonder if someone came forward and hit him.
But it seemed like the flags were thrown before the ball was
even snapped. It did, yeah. This is...
And it was from the side judge. The line judge had, at least the line judge had a flag down. Whether he was the initial flag or not, I'm not sure. And so the unsportsmanlike conduct.
I'm assuming they're going to mark that off on the kickoff. There's really nothing you can do here.
What Beerline can do is try to hit her 43rd extra point of the game. Snaps back, the kick hold is down by Johnson, the kick is up and good. We're going to keep it right here with 7:51 to play. Middletown has taken a 34-0 lead with 7:51 to play here in the second quarter. And so, Marty, it's senior day here. Decent fan base out here for the Concord Raiders. Middletown always travels well, as they have this morning as well. Your star running back, for all intents and purposes, as far as we can tell, is out of the game. If you're the Concord Raiders here now, you're playing for pride. It's hard to play for pride when you're playing against the top-ranked team in the state.
It is, unfortunately. This is team still on a mission, this Middletown team. And the one thing, if you're Zach Blum, too, this is kind of interesting. Last week you had the blowout where it was over before it ever got started. Today you're sort of seeing the same thing. They've got a huge game next Friday night against Hodson, and I'm sure they would have wanted a little more competitive feel to a game, which they really got, unless you go back to the Sally's game. I mean, it's going to be a good 3 weeks before they've played a competitive game on the field. For Concord, I agree. I think, if you're a senior and you don't get to play very much, I'm assuming Greg Mitchell's going to make sure they start to get some playing time, because at this point, one of the things Bam Robert provided, too, was a great decoy. When he didn't get the ball, they were able to use misdirection to do some things with some other athletes.
And that penalty, unsportsmanlike, was marked off here on the kickoff, so Beerline is going to kick off from the Concord 45, and she boots it, and Jasper Brown takes it at the 1 yard line, grabs it with his hands above his head, brings it out, and gets nailed and brought down, hammered by Cameron Williams there. Brown does a nice job hanging onto the ball. Concord is going to have it on the 14-yard line.
Yeah, that was an amazing hit again. We're seeing some really, really hard but legal hitting from this Middletown team. And, just a good job to hang on to the ball. And, boy, again, Kayla Beerline proving a weapon again today. She hits the extra points, which, they're scoring touchdowns at will pretty much here today. But on kickoff, she positions the ball well there. I mean, that time they pick it up at the 1 yard line. They only bring it out to the 14. So she's a valuable weapon to have on this team.
She has 43 out of 49 on the season. The only person more disappointed than Bam Roberts is the scout from Nebraska, who
yes, I
apparently is
saw
here
that.
sitting with the Roberts family. Of course, they're hoping that Bam will join brother Avery as a Corn Husker. 1st and 10, ball on the 14-yard line. And the ball is handed off, and we'll have to see who comes out of that pile. Not sure who that was.
Yeah, there's a massive humanity in the middle of the field.
Pickup of one.
I was Nemhard on the carry.
It was Nemhart on the carry there. You know, it's interesting on the Nebraska thing that no Delawarean has ever earned a varsity letter at the University of Nebraska.
That's interesting, and that will change this year. As you and I were talking about before the game started, Avery Roberts getting some time on special teams, not being redshirted this season. Has a few tackles listed on the Nebraska website. I've seen him on uniform. If you ever catch the Big Ten Network, they will show Nebraska games from time to time.
Nobody watches the Big Ten Network as much as you, Marty.
That's right.
Safe to say. And a bad snap over Kokenauer's head. He does a nice job grabbing it, and then wisely just takes a slide back to the 4-yard line. So, you know, the Kokenauer hasn't played since the 4th game consistently, and so we're seeing part of that.
We are, and you know, I think part of it, Greg Mitchell just turned to his staff and kind of threw up his arms. You know, I watched 3 Concord games on tape this week. I think I saw 1 bad snap.
Yeah.
So this is really unusual for them. I don't know if it's the pressure. It's senior day. You're down by a lot. You're trying to make things happen. But, yeah, this is out of character for the center quarterback exchange for Concord.
Greg Mitchell is as good a coach as anybody in the state of Delaware. His team is as disciplined and fundamentally sound as any team in the state of Delaware. And so it makes it even more
frustrating,
baffling
yes,
as to why that is happening. You can see, as you said, the body language there. And now the give is over the right tackle. And Bam Roberts is back in the game. And so good for him, good for the scouts, good for the fans, and most importantly, good for the Concord Raiders. Doesn't pick up much, and is going to bring up a 4th down, a punting situation for Concord.
Yeah, and I have to say he's not moving great. I'm hoping he's okay. I'm sure he wouldn't be in the game if he were not. I'm sure he's been cleared to play. But, yeah, the body language, he's been nicked up, I'd put it that way. And that's something that he has been throughout his career. He's one of those backs that gets a lot of work and takes a lot of pounding.
4 offensive possessions for the Raiders. Fumble, punt, and all the punts on 2 of the punts on a 3 and out. The other one they did pick up the 1 first down on the pass over the middle to Hall. Ernest Washington is back on his own 40-yard line. Adam Tummer punting from the goal line. The lefty hits it and it goes up. Looks like it was impacted by the wind a little bit. Takes a Middletown bounce, and it's going to end up being down on the 30-yard line, where Drew Fry will take over.
You know, I did some digging this week. I was curious to see, we talk about Concord the last 2 years. We've said, you know, maybe this is their year with the Roberts brothers. So I went back and looked at 2013. Since 2013, they've played Middletown, William Penn, and Sally's 15 times, including playoffs. They are 0-15 in those games, losing by an average of 19 points per contest. So I got to be honest, I was shocked at that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought they
have
were
a solid
right.
team. No, I mean, going back 5 years, they've not beaten any of these 3 teams.
Well, we've mentioned a couple times they've struggled with the quarterback injury situation.
They have.
Their starting quarterback for, I believe it's the past 4 years, has missed significant time at one point or another. Fry takes the snap. Whitehead has it up the middle, makes one man miss, and brought down finally by Justin Foster, but not until he picks up a 1st down at the 19.
It looks like we have an injured player on the field, Reese Kohler, a senior defensive tackle for Concord. Yeah, that was one of those situations I like to call pinballing, where Kedrick Whitehead just kind of hits the line and then bounces around across different Concord defenders before being pulled down after a 1st down.
Alrighty, a big thanks to our partner NKN Films for their outstanding design on our 2017 high school football schedule poster. Visit nknfilms.com for all your video needs. I dropped a few off at the concession stand today. Bam Roberts' mother was glad to see them. I'm sure she scooped up a couple, but there's probably a few more left. If you're here at the stadium listening to us on iHeartRadio, you can pick up your schedule posters down there.
TJ Thomas's mom from DMA, one of our schedule poster guys, was on us for a couple weeks. We finally got some out to DMA. These posters, everywhere I go, people are complimenting these posters and wanting these posters. So NKN really outdid themselves this year. And what's always a classy, well-done poster, they really went above and beyond the season.
They sure have. 5 minutes to play here in the second quarter. We got an injury on the field, but we're going to keep it right here. Middletown, top-ranked in the state with a 34-0 lead over Concord. Coming up on the IBEW Local 313 halftime report. Our producer and studio host, Benny Pinella, will have football news and scores, along with a preview of the weekend's matchups ahead. Plus, we'll be back with a review of the first 24 minutes of action. It's all coming up on the half. Special Olympics Delaware is always looking for qualified coaches or former players wanting to coach. The next sports season is basketball. It takes just 2 hours a week for 8 weeks to make a difference. Also, check out the high school unified flag football playoffs. Quarterfinals are next week. You can see the schedule and more information at SODE.org. Newark Charter School is going to take on Glasgow, I know, on Tuesday. Newark Charter, the defending unified flag football champion. A nice hand for Reese Kohler, the senior defensive tackle. Unfortunately, it looks like his high school career might be over this, even though we're in Week 9, the final regular season game for Concord. They don't have a team on the schedule.
Right, because of a scheduling snafu, they only ended up with 9 games. I know that there was potentially a game between them and AI DuPont being discussed, but that really wouldn't seem to benefit either team at this point. And, talking about that Unified Flag Football League, there's a great video on Delaware Online of an off-the-head bounce to a receiver. That's awesome.
And Fry takes a snap, tries to hit Edelin on a slant pattern, incomplete, going to bring up a second down.
Another rare miss. For some reason, Fry rushed that. I think he was getting a little more pressure than he actually was. He had time to set his feet and throw that to Edelin, but for some reason, again, rushed it a little bit, and one of very, very few missed passes in the last few weeks for Fry.
And he and Edelin have been perfect so far today until that point. 3 for 3, 3 passes, 3 catches, 3 touchdowns, and that's why Middletown's got a 34-0 lead. The other touchdown coming on a 4-yard run by Fry and a Jordan Cruz fumble recovery for a touchdown of 15 yards. Sean Busby along with Marty Sheehan, Benny Pinella back in the studio. Fry takes the snap and hands it off to Whitehead. Whitehead trying to get around the edge and instead is going to get forced out of the bounds by Nemhart.
Really nice job by Nemhart and number 13 from Concord. I lost my place there. Elijah Hall doing a nice job stringing that play out toward the right sideline, forcing him out of down, bringing up what really has been a rare 3rd and long situation for Middletown today.
Howard with a 20-0 lead over Christiana. Howard and DMA battling out for the Flight B championship and the automatic berth that goes along with it. What's kind of neat is we're in Week 9, and after Week 9, no matter what happens today, both divisions are still going to be up in the air.
That's right. I mean, who would have thought that going into Week 10, the game between Hodgson and Middletown would be for the Flight A championship, but here we are.
4:03 to play. Middletown with a 34-0 lead and a 3rd and 7 on the Concord 16. And the pass to Edelin goes off his hands and incomplete. A little overthrown there. So 2 inaccurate passes in a row from Drew Fry. You're not going to see that.
No, that was a surprise. He's usually right on target with those. They were setting up the wide receiver screen where he has Johnston and number 11 number 11 Tamar Teagle setting the blocks there. And now we bring up a 4th down. Again, this a situation where they're going to go for it. They're not. It's a little bit out of Caleb Bierlein's range, and at this point, there's no use in punting. You're far too deep in Concord territory.
The way she kicked her last 2 extra points, she
I don't know. Yeah, with the wind, you're right.
You're right. Typically out of her range here, and so on 4th and 7 on the 16, they will go for it. 2 wide receivers out to the left, moving right to left, throws in the middle, overthrows Nikki Johnson, a diving attempt, and nice coverage there by Elijah Hall for Concord, who's getting up a little hobble, but defense holds, and Concord will take over. That's the first good thing that's happened to the Raiders.
Absolutely, and you're right. That was a great job on defense there by Concord to prevent that throw to Johnston. He was all over Johnston, which caused Drew to try to have to funnel that in a little more carefully than he might have otherwise. So a good job, Concord defense down 34-0. Holding your own. There's one thing the Greg Mitchell teams you're not going to see is quit, and that was perfectly evident there.
And I think what Greg Mitchell is going to want to do now here with 3:47 to play is try to make sure that this is the last time that either team has the ball so his defense can stay off the field because of the quick strike power of Middletown. They're 1 point away from a running clock.
That's what I was going to say. That's a point of pride, especially on senior day. If you're a Concord senior, you don't want to have a running clock from the number 1 team in the state.
And so Kokenauer comes out. Nemhart and Dennis are in the backfield, so no Bam Roberts, at least on this first play. Concord in the all-maroon, top to bottom, moving left to right. They give it to Nemhart. He runs over the right tackle, going to pick up 2 yards to the 18-yard line.
Yeah, it's not much there. Again, they're going to have to show that they can consistently throw the ball. We saw 2 really nice on-target passes about in the 10 to 15-yard range from Kokenauer earlier. We haven't seen him do it since. And I'd be kind of surprised if they don't open this up at some point. I mean, there's not real difference between losing 34-0 and 50-0. So I think you're going to want to open this up a little bit at some point, try to stretch this Middletown defense, if for no other reason to give Nemhart in the backs a little cushion up front where they don't have 8-9 guys in the box.
Ball's lined up exactly between the hash marks on the 18-yard line. 2nd and 8 to go for Concord. Twin running backs in the backfield. That's Dennis and Nemhart. One wide receiver out to the left. The slot is filled on the right. The give is to Brandon Dennis up the middle, and he's going to get to about the 21-yard line, going to bring up a 3rd and 5.
I'm puzzled by the play calling. I don't get it. The only thing I think is he's trying to kill the clock.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah. And I mean, if that's the strategy, wow. Personally, I don't like that. Again, I don't think whether you lose 50-0 or 34-0, it's not good either way. But I want to go down fighting. So again, I'm going to be surprised if they don't start taking shots here soon.
The other thing you remember is the struggle they've had snapping the football, and so that might be another
has
thing
been an adventure.
that Greg Mitchell is thinking is let's get out of this and fix that at halftime. And he does have Kokenauer lined up under center. Brandon Dennis gets a handoff, and he spits out of a couple tackles and picks up the first down. A huge first down for Concord up to the 34-yard line.
That was a great job, and frankly, couldn't have a better kid than Brandon Dennis. I talked about he's dealt with some injuries the last couple of years, but a really nice job for him to break loose there, pick up the first down. And again, this allows them now possibly to kill the clock and go into halftime, possibly with some momentum. They're probably not going to win this game, but it does give you something to build on.
Yeah, and it's under 2 minutes to play now. 34-0 Middletown over Concord. As you said, may not be coming away here, but you want your seniors to go out feeling good about their efforts. The give is to Dennis again. Ernest Washington brings him down after a pickup of about 3 to the 38-yard line.
A nice job of Dennis to hold on to the ball there, because it wasn't for lack of Middletown not trying to rip that thing out of his grasp. That's the one benefit of having a huge lead, too, on defense. You hold a guy up and not tackle him right away and let someone else come in and try to strip the ball away from him, which is something you're probably going to see a lot more of in the second half of Concord as well.
Talked to Brandon Dennis's father before the game, asked him if he was going to play hoops this year, and he said, you know what, we'll wait and see. Hopefully, of course, missed it last year. I hope he does,
He's
too.
an exciting kid to watch.
Had to miss it last year with recovering from that torn ACL. Kokenauer back to pass, throws in the middle, and I would think a flag is coming in, and it is. A lot of contact there by Michael Wilson. They were trying to get the ball over to Jasper Brown, and so that's going to be a pass interference, which will give Concord another first down, 1:10 to play here in the first half.
If you're going to get a flag, you might as well get it honest. I mean, Wilson pretty much wrapped up the receiver on that one. I'm not sure if he thought he was going to be beat to the outside if that got over his head. But bottom line is, that's not a terrible decision if you think you're going to get beat. It's only a 15-yard penalty, and with such a huge lead, you can spare the yardage.
Alrighty, and so it is going to give a first down for Concord in Middletown territory up to the 47-yard line after the penalty is marked off. 1:10 to play. Concord moving left to right. Ball lined up on the right hash mark. 2 men in the backfield, 2 wide out to the left. Middletown faking the blitz. Kokenauer drops back, throws over the middle, and it's picked off, intercepted by Raekwon Green, his team high 5th of the year.
Yeah, that's a really nice job by the Middletown defense and Raekwon Green. It's one of those situations you're trying to fit it into a tight window, just not able to do it. I like the fact they're taking a shot there, trying to make something happen on the outside. Just, again, I said it a number of times in the first quarter, this is one of the best defensive backfields in the state. So it's really tough when you need to throw the football.
And so Raekwon Green, our DFRC player to watch, that is his 5th interception of the year. He leads the team in interceptions. Nick Johnson is second with 3. And so Drew Fry is going to come out. Middletown has the ball on their own 39-yard line.
Be interesting to see what they do here, to see if they try to stretch this to a running clock after halftime.
The other thing you're working on is your 2-minute drill.
Yes.
And he drops back, and he's hit hard by Brown. Fry gets it away. He was looking out to the right, trying to hit Tamar Teagle. I think he was just trying to get rid of the ball as much as anything. So a nice defensive effort there by Jasper Brown, going to bring up a 2nd and 10.
Yeah, you never see Drew Fry take a blindside hit like that. Jasper Brown did a great job coming off the edge. I'm guessing there was something unrecognized by the Middletown offensive line. They generally don't let someone get free like that. Jasper Brown, a great job to read the situation and really leveled Drew Fry.
And what could have been an injury, fortunately, wasn't. Now maybe you're rethinking if you're
yes,
that
true.
Why don't we take a couple knees and get out? But it doesn't look like that's going to be the situation. This is an opportunity to practice your 2-minute drill.
It is.
And any coach will tell you that, including Greg Mitchell. This is not running up the score. Whitehead goes in motion left to right. Fry is being chased out of the pocket to the right, whips it over to an open Whitehead, but incomplete over his head. Going to stop the clock with 51 seconds left, bring up a third down.
You know, we've seen Fry off target with at least his last 4 passes. And I'm sure maybe that's something they're talking about, too, that they want to get him back into a rhythm. That time, he's usually very good rolling out to the right and throwing off his back foot. But that time, Kedrick Whitehead, again, who's 6'2", it's kind of difficult to overthrow him, but Drew put that in a spot that there was no way Whitehead was coming down with that.
Fry's been perfect on the 3 passes to Edelin, albeit Edelin was wide open on 2 of those 3, but he is also, as you said, misfired to a couple wide open guys, very unlike the junior quarterback with that quarterback lineage. His father, Dale Fry, of course, a quarterback at the University of Delaware. And so 3rd and 10. Fry falls back or drops back, flanked out, throwing right, trying to hit Edelin for the 4th touchdown of the day between the two. No good. Great coverage there by Concord's Nemhart, going to bring up a 4th down.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Edelin didn't think Drew could throw it that far or not, but about 3/4 of the way through his route, he slowed down, and Drew threw it as if he was going to stay in full sprint, and it ended up going over his head. It looked like Fry gave him a little look at the end of that, like, why'd you cut that off?
Right.
But because let's face it, there's not many throws that Fry isn't able to make. He's got a real cannon back there.
Speaking of not many, Jeff Lockwood hasn't had to punt very many times this year, but he is on to punt for the Cavaliers at his own 27-yard line, and Nemhart and Brown are dropped back to receive the punt. 44 seconds to play. Middletown with a 34-0 lead over Concord here in the second quarter. The punt is up. It's a good one. Jasper Brown's going to field it at his own 35-yard line. Gets tripped up, spun around, still on his feet before he's finally brought down at the 27, maybe 28-yard line. We'll see where they mark it. And Concord will come back onto the field with 33 seconds left to play here in the first half.
I was going to say Middletown punts slightly more than Smyrna kicks extra points, which is never. Middletown, very, very rare to see them throw the punter out there. And, of course, I joke about that because Smyrna still does not have a kicker, employ a kicker on their team. They will punt occasionally. They did punt one time last night late in the game versus Sally's, but they line up in that earthquake formation every time after a touchdown. And, it's funny. The state has caught up to that a little bit.
Yes.
They have not nearly been as successful this year as they were in the last 2 years.
The game I did with Marvin Dooley that you were not at, they were more unsuccessful than successful, but they were successful running the earthquake in the middle of the field.
Yes, that's
so
a new
when
thing
they had
they do.
3rd or 4th and short, as Kokenauer is going to take a knee with 30 seconds left to play. We'll see if they make Concord do that one more time or if the refs call it a half. There's going to be about a half a second differential between what would be the play clock and halftime. The refs are not moving off yet. The Concord sideline has started moving to where they will huddle up.
I think you're right, though. They're just realizing that it doesn't match up exactly.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to snap the ball at least one more time if they really want to do this officially, which they should.
They should.
Though it's a 34-0 lead, and the clock is still running, and that has run out. So not sure what they were doing, but the reality is, either way, it is halftime here at Concord High, and the top-ranked Middletown Cavaliers have a commanding 34-0 lead over the Raiders. After the commercial break, we're going to send it back to the Fox Sports 1290 studio for the IBEW Local 313 halftime report with Benny Pinella, and then we'll be back to talk about the first half action, one that was dominated by the Cavaliers. Your halftime score, Middletown 34, Concord 0. You're listening to High School Game of the Week on Fox Sports.
Unique Image opened for business in Wilmington, Delaware in 1979 with one focus, wowing our customers with great products and even greater customer service. 30 years later, we are still doing exactly that. Whether you're looking for marketing tools to promote your business, gifts for your employees or clients, or planning a special event, we're here with the voice of experience to help you every step of the way for your complete satisfaction. Visit our new showroom in the Mill Creek Shopping Center, 4577 Kirkwood Highway. Unique Image, you envision, we create. Unique Image opened for business in Wilmington, Delaware in 1979 with one focus, wowing our customers with great products and even greater customer service. 30 years later, we are still doing exactly that. Whether you're looking for marketing tools to promote your business, gifts for your employees or clients, or planning a special event, we're here with the voice of experience to help you every step of the way for your complete satisfaction. Visit our new showroom in the Mill Creek Shopping Center, 4577 Kirkwood Highway. Unique Image, you envision, we create. Unique Image began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 homebuyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time homebuyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today. Mr. Italian began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 homebuyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time homebuyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today. Mr. Italian began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 homebuyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time homebuyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today. Mr. Italian began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 homebuyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market...
The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So, for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at thehadleygroupre.com. The Hadley Group is your local
contractor on Fox Sports 1290.
Hooters of Newark is located at 136 Astro Shopping Center, Newark, Delaware. Come in day or night to watch your favorite teams and sports on our many TVs. It's a great, fun-filled environment that is kid-friendly. Our craveable food menu has all the appetizers, burgers, salads, tacos, seafood, you name it, as well as our world-famous Hooters wings, which are the official wings of 302sports.com.
1-yard touchdown catch held in by Drew Fry, who also added a rushing touchdown. Drew Fry is 7th on the season. That put Middletown up 20-0, currently leading 34-0. They also got a score on a Middletown fumble recovery for a touchdown. It is Concord Senior Day. We'll see if they can rally behind that and come back in this game in the second half. Some other high school football scores from around the state of Delaware right now. Howard and Christiana. That one not close to halftime. They still have about 3 minutes left in the first half there. 38-12 in favor of the Wildcats of Howard, looking to move up in Division II. Conrad's also facing Belcastle. Tatnall, they have their senior day against First State Military Academy. It's also SAT day around the world of Delaware high schools. So you have a couple of games starting a little later, with Hodgson senior day at 2 p.m. against Appoquinimink. Mount Pleasant will face McKean at 2, and William Penn will face St. George's Tech at 2 as well. And your nightcap for tonight is, along with Charter and Archmere at 2:30, St. Eves will face St. Mark's. It's the Vikings senior night at 7 p.m. You can, of course, watch that game live on 302 Sports and watch the Middletown Concord game live on 302 Sports on YouTube. Well, Smyrna right now, the finals from last night, Smyrna beating Sally's 28-7. Wilmington Friends beat Norrisville out of New Jersey 48-0. And then, of course, Glasgow falling to Caravel 33-0. Perkiomen crushing St. Andrews 29-7. DMA 51, Newark 7. Cape Henlopen 50. Dover 36. Woodbridge beating IR 40-0. And Lake Forest and Laurel had a basketball score 60-40. Not often you put up 40 points and lose. AI DuPont advances to 8-1 with a win over Brandywine 22-0. Seaver beats Red Lion Christian 20-16. CR narrowly escaping Sussex Central 24-21. Polytech improves to 6-3 on the season with a 26-14 win over Sussex Tech, or excuse me, a 20-14 win over Sussex Tech. Delmar also beating Milford 35-10. Let's look at Delaware High School football scores and finals from yesterday. In the NFL, we have a final from Thursday. The Jets beating the Bills 34-21. Tomorrow, we'll see the Ravens versus the Titans, and hear it live here on Fox Sports 1290 AM. The Giants will face the Rams, Eagles, and Broncos. College scores. The FCS top 10 will see Georgia, the number 1 team in the nation, the number 20 team NC State. Number 4 ranked Buckeyes will take on Iowa. Michigan State, that one squaring off a little. Wisconsin and Indiana. At 1 p.m. on our 90. Pacers last night, 120 Thursday versus. They shut out the Blues, I should say, 2-0 today. They have a 7 p.m. start versus the Colorado Avalanche. Take a look at the top scores around, or top stories, I should say, in the NFL. Ezekiel Elliott has been granted a stay and will once again be eligible to play Sunday. The Cowboys running back received a 6 for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy. However, Elliott was never charged by the Ohio authorities. More NFL news. Aaron Rodgers said in a report, Week 5. Tom Savage, the Houston quarterback, now replacing Deshaun Watson, says you cannot replace Watson. Of course, Watson tearing his ACL earlier this week. Practice. In baseball, it's option day. Several players and teams. Picks attack. Delmar, of course, beating Milford. Interesting year for Milford. Of course, upset Woodbridge, and now falling to Delmar 35-10. We'll see how it happens. Playoffs, they are in the next few weeks. Apo to the St. East side. And DLHS, when tweeting out the scores of Delaware High School sports, help us report all the scores to you and much more. Well, for myself, Benny Pinell, we're going to send it back to John Busby and Marty Sheehan after the half, as we will see the second half of Middletown and Concord on Fox Sports 1290 AM.
This has been the High School Football Game of the Week Halftime Report, presented by the IBEW Local 313 and its local contractors. We'll be right back with the start of the second half on Fox Sports 1290, foxsports1290am.com, and on the go with our free iHeartRadio app.
You have to work late tonight, and your daughter still needs to be picked up from a piano lesson. Do you A, ask your brother for a favor?
Kind of busy at the moment.
Or B, ask your neighbor, who served as an Army Special Operations Black Hawk crew chief?
I have 2 prior objectives, but can still acquire the asset and bring her on home. ETA 15 minutes.
Of course, my friends.
First stop survey.
Interesting score. Howard 44, Christiana 12.
Special offers available to all veterans, members of the Armed Forces, the DOD, and their families. Navy Federal Credit Union.
I was trying to cover the spread, but
Arby's roast beef requires no introduction. But chicken,
I got a lot of money riding on Christiana right now to cover that spread.
St. Dickinson, week 10.
Juicy buttermilk chicken, hand-dipped in buffalo.
Yeah, I'm going the over on that one.
New chicken pepperoni palm with fresh mozzarella. So many kinds of...
Was that a, what was it, forfeit?
Yeah, Arby's, we have the meats.
At participating Arby's for a limited time.
Bet you didn't know this. Broadcast radio reaches
that program beat Belcastle
than TV. Yeah, AM/FM radio. The radio that's free in your car, your kitchen, your office. Broadcast radio reaches more adults, teens, and millennials. More of everyone. More shoppers. Broadcast radio reaches 93% of Americans every week. That's bigger than TV, Facebook, and Google. If you're a marketer who needs to reach new...
I always say this, a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while.
When it's listening. AM/FM radio.
When weather hits, the right plans make all the difference. That's when the Michelin Man is on your side, helping you see better and drive safer with new Michelin premium wiper blades. Designed with exclusive SmartFlex technology, our frameless beam design. Michelin blades flex to the curve of your window.
Yeah, it's being generous.
It's streak-free, long-lasting, all-season performance. So when the going gets tough, be ready with Michelin premium wiper blades. It's a difference you can see. Available at Walmart and other fine retailers.
What if hiring could be easier, with more qualified candidates and faster results? What if hiring could be smarter? Based to ZipRecruiter? It can be. With one click, post your job to over 100 top job boards. Then, their smart technology notifies the most qualified candidates to apply. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/expand. That's ZipRecruiter.com/expand.
High school football on Fox Sports 1290, FoxSports1290AM.com, and iHeartRadio Fox Sports 1290.
Welcome back to Raider Stadium here at Concord High School in North Wilmington, along with Marty Sheehan. Thanks to Benny Pinella for that halftime. But it is 34-0 Middletown over the Concorders here on Senior on their very first drive. A 90 pass from Drew Fry to Concord fumble, third play from scrimmage, and it was a 4-yard run by Fry, another 4-yard pass from Fry to Edelin to make it 13-0 with 8:03 to play. Another punt by Concord set up the 4-yard run I just referred to by Drew Fry with 11:57 to play in the second quarter to put Middletown up 20-0. Concord punted again, and then it was a 6-play, 53-yard drive that ended in another connection between Drew Fry and Kenny Edelin. This one for 34 yards at the 8:04 mark to give Middletown a 27-0 to lead. And just when you didn't think things could get any worse, a fumble by Concord on the first play of their next possession was scooped up by Jordan Cruz, and he rumbled 15 yards for the touchdown. Kayla Bierline's extra point, her 43rd of the year, put them up 34-0 with 7:51 to play. An interception thwarted a potential Concord drive. They were moving along on 6 plays, aided by a pass interference penalty, and Raekwon Green picked it up. Middletown ended up having to punt, and Concord took a knee to end the half and put us at the 34-0 point where we are at now. Marty, your thoughts on the first half?
You know, it's pretty much what we thought, maybe a little bit worse in terms of how good Middletown has been. Unfortunately, to add injury to insult with Concord, Bam Roberts has been nicked up, so he's really been ineffective today. We don't know how much or if we'll see him in the second half, but it's really taken away any kind of explosive threat Concord might have. And really, the score could even be worse, except we saw in the second quarter a number of rare Drew Fry misfires where he missed open receivers. And you have to give credit to the Concord defense for hanging in there. They've been on the field a lot. It'll be interesting to see how they respond down 34-0 on Senior Day with the kickoff coming up.
Kickoff will be by Kayla Bierline. Middletown won the toss and elected to receive, and so they will be kicking off to start this second half. Back deep, as they have been all day, is Lennox Nemhart and Jasper Brown. The kick is actually going to be short, and it's fumbled by Concord, and Middletown is going to get it. Malik Calloway, I think, was a little surprised at the bounce of the ball there, and so not a good start for the Raiders.
Well, yeah, if you're a Concord fan, you just can't make this stuff up. I mean, everything that it's Murphy's Law today. Everything that could go wrong seemingly has gone wrong. It starts there. Bierline has been pretty consistent in kicking the ball deep all season. She's been really effective today, kicking it short a bit. Maybe the wind has something to do with it, but it's really forced the up men from Concord to handle the ball, try to handle the ball more than they're used to, and it's resulted in a couple fumbles and muffs by the Concord kick return team.
And so with a 34-0 lead, junior Drew Fry will lead the Middletown offense out onto the field with a 1st and 10 at the Concord 35-yard line. The pitch is to Kedrick Whitehead, and he's trying to get around on the short side of the field, the right side, moving right to left as we see it, and he's going to get up to the 28-yard line, going to bring up a 2nd and probably 4.
Kedrick Whitehead had a nice little job of picking through the defense there. He and Bam Roberts both on occasion, Bam Roberts even more so, have that kind of Le'Veon Bell feel where they'll slow down, especially Bam Roberts, let the blocking form in front of them and then go through the hole. Whitehead's more of a hit the hole right away guy. That time he did put his arm out on the back of one of his offensive linemen, kind of direct him, and able to pick up a few more yards.
2nd and 4 ball on the 28-yard line. Middletown looking to remain undefeated at 9-0. They would move to 6-0 in the Blue Hen Flight A Conference. Man goes in motion right to left, and the give is to Green, and he gets dropped in the backfield after actually picks up, it looks like about 2. They're going to give him Raekwon Green, getting a lot of touches from the backfield tonight.
He is. It's as we said, it looks like they're maybe trying to develop another weapon, put something on tape to give teams in the playoffs something else to think about, or even as more recent as next week when they play Hodgson, give Frank Moffitt and company a little more to look at. If you focus on Whitehead in the backfield, you're leaving a lot of guys unattended. Edel and Johnson, you got Raekwon Green back there. Lockwood is a kid who's gotten a number of carries we haven't really seen carry the ball today.
And the give is to their go-to guy, Kedrick Whitehead. He's going to pick up the first down. Whitehead, of course, came into the game with over 1,000 yards, probably over 1,100 by now. It's going to be a first down for Middletown.
Wow, that was I would call that a generous give of forward momentum. He actually, the way he slips out of tackles, they would have been perfectly justified in marking that back where he ended up being tackled because he did slip away a bit. But he's really good at pushing forward for more yards. And, again, it's because he's more limited in carries than a guy like Bam Roberts is. He stays much more fresh, whereas Roberts is almost exclusively the focal point of the Concord offense.
1st and 10, ball on the Concord 23-yard line. Drew Fry trying to punch another touchdown in here. It would make it a running clock as Middletown has a 34-0 lead. It's a quick out on a little jet sprint there to Griffin. I lost him sight there. He's going to get down. They're going to mark it at about the 11-yard line.
That's a play they tried to run earlier in the second quarter, and they were unsuccessful. Fry was a little high with his pass. Griffin is not a big target by any means. He's 5'9". That time, Fry put it right between the numbers, allowed Green to cut it back upfield, pick up another first down.
So the jet sprint, the jet screen, depending on who you talk to, it's amazing the different terminology people use for all the different formations.
Middletown makes use of all of them.
They do. And so 1st and 10, ball on the 12-yard line, 8:57 to play here in the third quarter, and it's a misdirection to Kedrick White. A flag comes in late, and that could be a holding situation. We'll see what that call is here. It's not going to be a first down either way. It is going to be a hold against Middletown.
Yeah, the only thing, if you're Zach Blum, the only thing that's been a negative here is that they do have, I believe, 5 penalties or so, and 2 of them have been of the 15-yard variety. They have had 2 holding penalties that have pass interference. 3 of them were the 15-yard variety. So they've really racked up the penalty yards, something they want to clean up before they move into the postseason.
One of the things they did clean up was the 2 chop blocks. Yes. I believe they had a chop block penalty on each of their first 2 series, and the defensive coordinator, Jake Smolsky, cleaned that up, haven't had one since.
Which, as you said, we may have seen 1 all season.
Yeah, certainly didn't see 2.
No.
Trips to the right, the give is to Whitehead. He's going to go in that direction. He shakes 1 tackle, trying to get around the edge. He does, and he's going to rumble into the end zone from 20 yards out. So a 20-yard touchdown score by Kedrick Whitehead. That is his 13th touchdown of the season, and that puts Middletown up 40-0, and the clock is running.
Boy, Malik Wright, the junior 5'10", 237-pound tackle, had Whitehead, but he made the mistake of getting a little high up on his body, just wasn't able to contain him, wasn't able to hold enough of his leg as Whitehead started to pull away. And unfortunately, when Whitehead gets to the corner, as we said earlier, they have really good blocking on the outside, both from their receivers and their tight ends and their pulling guards. So nice job of them setting it up, allowing Whitehead to turn the corner and take it into the end zone.
So Middletown takes advantage of the Concord fumble on the opening kickoff of the second half here. Needs just 6 plays and a 20-yard touchdown run by Kedrick Whitehead. His 13th of the season. Caleb Bierlein is in for the extra point. It is up, and it is no good. So a rare miss for Bierlein, but doesn't matter. Middletown's got a 40-0 lead. The clock is running here at Concord High. We'll be right back after this.
Navy Federal is proud to serve over 1
and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time home buyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today. Mr. Italian began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian is
insured by NCUA. Members were compensated for their participation.
Welcome back to the Delaware High School football game of the week on Fox Sports 1290.
Senior day here at Concord High. Not so much fun for the Raiders seniors who trail 40-0 to Middletown. We're in a running clock situation. 6:33 to play here in the third quarter. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. Caleb Bierlein kicks it off, and it is taken at the 25-yard line by Elijah Hall. He's working his way up the left sideline, going to get driven out of bounds at the 41-yard line. And the Concord offense will come back on the field. We haven't seen much of the Concord offense on the field today.
No, we haven't. I mean, we don't have the capability of tracking time of possession, but I imagine it is overwhelmingly in Middletown's favor. I mean, it's really amazing how much they've controlled the ball today. A number of plays is something I'd like to see also. But, yeah, for Middletown, or for Concord, excuse me, this is their best starting field position of the day, I believe. So, after a touchdown anyway. So, be interesting to see what they do here. It is senior day. You know the pride is kicked in. They don't like this running clock. You know they'd love to punch one in.
25 plays is what they've run, and those have included their 3 punts, a fumble, and an interception. So not many plays at all. They give is to Brandon Dennis around the right side. He's going to get to about the 41-yard line and pick up of about 2. And talk about Bam Roberts for a second, his situation right now, Marty.
Yeah, Bam Roberts, it looks like he's going to be out for the game. We understand he's dealing with some type of hand injury. It doesn't sound like he's going to be cleared to come back into this game this afternoon. It's a shame. It's senior day. He's had an outstanding career here. But it's kind of one of those situations now where you really don't want to risk it. He's a kid who's got a very bright future ahead of him. Sure to end up at a Power 5 school at some point. So, it's kind of a shame for them because he really is the weapon for this Concord team and has been for the past 3 seasons.
Quite a lineage in that family. Brother Grant plays for the University of Delaware. Brother Avery plays for the University of Nebraska. Kokenauer is under center. The hand is to Dennis. And he gets about a yard over the left tackle and is brought down. Going to bring up a 3rd and 7.
Boy, 2 of the happiest parents in the world have to be the Roberts parents, don't they? I mean, you get your kids' educations paid for because they can play football. They go to good, solid schools. I mean, it's really amazing. They've done obviously a good job with these boys, as you said. Grant at the University of Delaware has had a decent career, and Avery getting time as a freshman with Nebraska.
And here's one of the best things I saw. I arrived about 2 hours early before kickoff, like I always do, and Mr. Roberts setting up banners, Mrs. Roberts in the concession stand setting up. And so you got to love that. You know, parents whose kids are, on the way to success and already there, helping out just like everybody else. 3rd and 7, ball on the 42-yard line. Kokenauer has his team moving left to right. He drops back to pass, and he flings it over to the left, trying to find Justin Foster, incomplete, and he was just trying to unload before the sack there.
Yeah, he was, and really good job on the pass rush by Middletown, and also Michael Wilson, the senior, in coverage there. Middletown does a fantastic job of maintaining their defensive backfield, whether they put a safety deep, which they do sometimes, or whether they play man-to-man. They're always doing a nice job. Of course, it helps when you have a quarterback at practice who probably makes you work harder than most quarterbacks on the opposing sidelines do.
And so Adam Tomer is in to kick for the Concord Raiders. And it looks like Ernest Washington is back deep. He was our DFRC player to watch in the Newark game.
Dangerous return man.
Very
has
dangerous.
been in his career
Had
here.
a 55-yard punt return against Newark in that game. Tomer kicks it away, and it's going to bounce, and Ernest Washington is going to let it bounce out at the 22-yard line. We're going to take one of our breaks here. We've got a running clock, 2:52 to play in the third quarter. Middletown, a 40-0 lead over the Concord Raiders. And actually, I think we're going to keep it right here for the time being. It's 2:38 to play, and the Middletown offense will come onto the field. They are going to mark it at the 27-yard line where they will take over. So Concord just has not been able to get anything going on the offensive end.
No, they haven't. As you said, 25-26, they're around 27-28 plays for the day. They haven't been able to do anything. 3 first downs you came up with at the half, one of those coming via penalty. So they just haven't been able to get anything going. Again, Bam Roberts is a big part of that. Though in the past several years, Middletown has been one of the better teams in containing him, but he still is a big threat to break one, and that's just when he's not in the game, that hurts.
Number 14, Michael Wilson, in at quarterback for Middletown. We saw him a bit in the Newark game last week. Wilson takes it, and he turns and hands it off to one of the running backs, going to pick up a yard to the 23-yard line. That was Najee Smith, who came into the game. This is where Niger gets his opportunity to get these handoffs.
And Niger Smith, if you're a fan of Middletown and then you have access to Huddle and you bother watching to their blowouts, late into their blowouts, Niger Smith really does a nice job. He's got a quick first step. He's able to make tacklers miss. He has a nice spin move that I've seen on occasion. Of course, Michael Wilson is a guy, the defensive back, who's done a really nice job today as their backup quarterback as a senior. So it's nice when you have leadership you can put in there in the quarterback position, even when you're trying to salt away a clock. One of the cases where the quarterback is actually a backup quarterback is a later grade than the starting quarterback.
Wilson, a senior, listed at 5'10", plays a little bit on the defensive side of the ball, came into the game with 6 tackles, as does Niger Smith. He has 23 tackles and an interception for the Cavaliers. We're under a minute to play here in the third quarter. Running clock, Middletown with a 40-0 lead over Middletown. The give is to Smith. Smith rumbles up the middle, picks up about 5 yards to the 30-yard line. And my guess is by the time they mark this ball and start the play clock, we will be under the time needed to come to the end of the third quarter, but we will wait and see. So we're going to bring up a 3rd and 2, ball on the 30 for Middletown. Wilson looks like he's just going to hang out on the sideline. The Middletown teammates are going to join him. So that is going to bring us to the end of the third quarter here at Concord High. Middletown with a commanding 40-0 lead over the Concord Raiders here on Fox Sports 1290 and 302 Sports.
Hi, this is Tom Williams from Anchor Buick.
I'm going to merge another break with this one.
At Anchor, we consistently sell our cars and trucks for
That'll
less.
lead me 2 laps, and I'll
Consistently
sneak that
give
in
you
and
more
change
for your
your
trades. With over 50 years of experience combined with the best selection of Buick and GMC products in the tri-state area, Anchor Buick GMC is where you can get your best buying and ownership experience. So stop by or visit our website at www.anchorbuickgmc.com. Browse our multi-million-dollar inventory and see how we do business the Williams way.
GMC, we are professional grade.
Incognito Productions is the premier sports filming
resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at thehadleygroup.re.com. The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at thehadleygroup.re.com. The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014.
Wow, amazing. He ran out of a tough situation about 7 to 10 yards into that run. Someone grabbed him by, it looked like, the shoulder pad. He broke out of that. It slowed him up enough to allow the Concord defensive backs to catch up to him at some point, and then he just worked his way out of 2 or 3 tackles. Greg Mitchell, again, kind of throwing his arms up down here, and a fantastic job of Niger Smith having a nose for the end zone.
Only a sophomore, so the kid certainly has a bright future for him. 11:05 to play. It is now 46-0. And not sure whether Caleb Bierline is going to come on or not. Mike Wilson, the quarterback, is in the huddle, which would make me think that they are going to try to go for 2 here. Not really any reason to do this one way or the other, Marty.
No.
Other than maybe you're trying to have this second string execute maybe a 2-point conversion. And you don't know how many of these guys actually are going to take a knee. So, just when we think, therefore, give Zach Blum some credit. We saw him do that in another situation as well, not wanting to pile the points on here. So it is 46-0 with 10:25 to play. We're going to take a quick break here on Fox Sports 1290 and 302 Sports.
With Domino's Piece of the Pie Rewards, you earn a free medium 2-topping pizza after just 6 orders of $10 or more.
You got it, mate.
To order, throw a half birthday party for your husband.
Happy 36 and a half.
Or your cat. Or get in touch with your vegetarian side.
Hold the pepperoni.
For weekly free pizzas, reason enough. Start earning points toward free pizza with our mix and match deal at Domino's.com today. Open only to U.S. residents 13 and older with a Pizza Profile account. You must ask for this limited time offer. Prices, participation, delivery area, and charges may vary. Complete details at Domino's.com/rewards.
High school football on Fox Sports 1290, FoxSports1290AM.com, and iHeartRadio Fox Sports 1290.
Roger Smith, the sophomore, a 70-yard touchdown stamper down the middle and along the left sideline, and makes it 46-0 for the Middletown Cavaliers over the Concord Raiders. We're in a running clock situation, just over 9 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter as Caleb Bierlein gets ready to kick off, going left to right for the Middletown Cavaliers. Back deep for Concord are Nemhart and Jasper Brown. The kick is away, and it's going to be taken short, and it is picked up there by Roland Buford. He's trying to get around the left side along the sideline, and he's actually going to be tackled by the backup quarterback for Middletown, Mike Wilson. So even though you become the starting quarterback for a quarter, you're still a two-way player for the Cavs.
That's right. Actually three-way because he's playing on defense. He's playing special teams.
Right.
Yeah, he's doing everything now, and then finally gets to run the show in the fourth quarter here, which he's gotten to do a couple times this year, though. Middletown has certainly had their share of blowouts. Again, they haven't been in a close game since their 19-13 win over Sally's a few weeks ago, and that's something you have to expect, that there's going to be some fireworks next week. You know, Frank Moffitt and crew with Hodgson are going to try to come up with something to slow this offense down. I don't know that they have an offense to compete with Middletown yet. They do have a freshman quarterback who's really done a nice job, but it's going to be interesting next Friday.
And so in for Concord at the quarterback right now is Elijah Hall, it looks like. No, Kokenauer is. I couldn't see him lined up behind his big offensive lineman there, number 74, Owen Zupan. And so Kokenauer in, the senior, and he gives off to Brandon Dennis, another senior, and he's going to barrel forward to the 40-yard lines where they'll give him his forward momentum. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 7 for the Raiders. Running clock, 7:50 to play. Middletown a 46-0 lead. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan, Benny Pinella back in our Newcastle studios.
And these situations can always be interesting. For Middletown, you have kids in there who may not get a ton of playing time. They want to impress the coaches. They know all this will be on tape. The coaches will watch during the week, and they want to make sure they make an impression, whether there's an injury situation or even if it's just for next season.
4 punts and 3 turnovers for the Concord offense. It would be nice for everybody here, seniors included, to see a scoring drive situation. And Dennis gets it, and he gets over the left side, and he's going to pick up maybe a yard before he's brought down by a Middletown defensive lineman whose number we don't have on the roster, which happens a lot in these running clock situations.
Yes, it does. And, you know, it's funny. I was just getting ready to say he's not on the roster, but he demonstrated perfect technique in that tackle there. Just goes to show down the line, Zach Blum has skilled these kids, he and the coaching staff. They're all so well disciplined in tackling and the fundamentals of the game. Greg Mitchell very much the same way.
7 state titles for this Middletown program, 3 at D1 and 4 in Division II. And so just unbelievable run of success in the past decade plus. This time the pitch is to Nemhart around the right side, and they're going to give him his forward momentum to about the 46-yard line, going to bring up a 4th and 1.
And Nemhart's a kid who's been forced into more action than he most likely anticipated today with Bam Roberts' injury. But he's done a nice job. He runs hard. He certainly doesn't have the breakaway speed or the size that Bam Roberts has, but a very good back.
And it looks like Concord is going to go for it, which I think is a good move. You got nothing to lose at this point except the game, which you're going to lose either way here on Senior Day, and what is the final game of the season for the Concord Raiders. They do not have a game scheduled in Week 10. 4th and 1, ball on their own 46-yard line. Kokenauer gives it to Dennis, and Senior bulls his way up the middle, picks up a 1st down.
Nice job by Dennis. He ends up picking up about 5 yards on the play. He just had kind of bulled his way through there. That's the 2nd 1st down he's picked up today. It's nice to see, again, a kid who's battled through some injuries. Nice to see him having a decent finish to his career here with some strong runs.
Just the 4th 1st down unofficially for the Raiders today. Going to bring up a 1st and 10 on the Middletown 47. And by the time they get this playoff, we'll be under 5 minutes to play. And what will end up being a lopsided win for the Cavaliers. The score right now as it stands is 46-0. 1st and 10 at the 47, moving right to left in their all-maroon top to bottom, and the give is to Nemhart, and he heads around the left and instead cuts upfield and going to pick up about a yard. They'll mark it at the 46.
Boy, in the Middletown backups on defense are doing a really nice job. I'm sure it becomes a point of pride just as much on the other side when you don't, the first team has pitched a shutout. They're one of the best defenses in the state. The reserves don't want to come in and give up a big touchdown run or a big play, so there's a lot of pride on their side as well.
And so Kokenauer will trot back on the field with a 2nd and 9, ball on the 46. A lot of seniors in the lineup for Concord, as you would expect, wearing that jersey for the last time. Most of these guys probably playing their last football of their career.
Yes.
Bam Roberts, who's not on the field, hasn't been the entire second half, battling a left wrist injury, at least based on the ice that is there. Elijah Hall takes the handoff on the sweep around to the right, and it's going to get it. They're going to mark it between the 39 and 40-yard line. It looks like they'll mark the ball at the 40-yard line. Will bring up a 3rd and about 3.
And anyone out there is wondering why Concord doesn't take shots. I think they may have if Zach Blum hadn't taken the knee on the extra point to kind of wave the white flag and say, on our side, we're considering this over. I'm guessing Greg Mitchell's not going to throw it back in his face by throwing deep passes here, even though they'd love to come up with a score.
Mitchell, in his 4th year, he was the offensive coordinator under Coach George Kasanovich, who this field is named after. He started his assistant coaching job back in 1992, and Dennis looks like he's going to be short of the line of scrimmage, and it's going to bring up a 4th down for the Raiders.
Now, if I recall, Kasanovich was famous for his shorts on the sideline
Always wore
in
shorts.
any weather.
Always wore shorts. Mitchell, not the case.
No.
Obviously, and he's even got a jacket on.
I remember seeing late November games in bitter cold and Coach Kasanovich wearing his shorts out there.
I was doing some research for this game, and one of the articles I pulled up was when George Kasanovich announced his retirement. And, head coaches rarely announce who their successor should be. And he made no doubt about it that if Greg Mitchell did not get the head coaching job, that it was an injustice.
Yes.
And sure enough, shortly after that, he did. This is a sweep to the left by Nemhart, and it looks like he's going to pick up a 1st down. So a little bit of positivity
There it is,
here.
you hold on to the ball. You're right. There hasn't been much to get excited about if you're a Concord fan. If nothing else, you get to hold on to the ball here at the end of the game, run the clock out, and Dennis has gotten some nice yards.
And so 2:30 to play here, trailing 46-0. The Raiders are actually having their best drive of the game. And you can, of course, say that it's a lot of backups in for Middletown, and there's no doubt about that. But a lot of these backups for Middletown are starters in a lot of other football programs.
These kids are solid athletes, good football players. You're right. They're too deep is very good.
So let's not take anything away from this drive. Kokenauer gets it, and it's a quick out to Jasper Brown, and he's going to be hauled out of bounds by a host of Middletown Cavaliers. We're going to take our final break of the game because we're under 2 minutes with 1 to go. It is 46-0 Middletown over Concord here on Fox Sports 1290 and 302 Sports.
Welcome to Hooters. Have a seat wherever you like.
Hooters of Newark is located at 136 Astro Shopping Center, Newark, Delaware. Come in day or night to watch your favorite teams and sports on our many TVs. It's a great, fun-filled environment that is kid-friendly. Our craveable food menu has all the appetizers, burgers, salads, tacos, seafood, you name it, as well as our world-famous Hooters wings, which are the official wings of 302sports.com.
Welcome to Hooters. Have a seat wherever you like.
Fox Sports 1290.
Under a minute to play here at Concord High. Middletown with a 46-0 lead. Concord has the ball, 1st and 10. Ball on the 20-yard line, putting together their best offensive drive of the day. Kokenauer under center. The senior, he hands off to fellow senior Brandon Dennis, who rumbles forward to the 16-yard line. 48 seconds and running clock to play here. And although they're putting together a great drive, Mitchell's also returning the positive sportsmanship and not calling timeout here, trying to punch one in.
No, and again, I think it goes back to the taking the knee on the extra point attempt there by Middletown. Both these coaches, they're in the same conference. You always want to maintain good relations conversations with your fellow coaches, and both these guys are class acts.
Stay tuned for the American Spirit Federal Credit Union post-game show. We'll recap the scoring and also announce our Crown Trophy player of the game. It's coming up right after the final horn sounds. What could be the last play of the game with 10 seconds to play. Kokenauer takes the snap, hands it off to Brendan Dennis, and he gets taken down by a pile of Middletown Cavaliers led by Jacob Cromer. And that is going to bring us to the end of today's Fox Sports 1290 Game of the Week. Your final score, Middletown 46, Concord 0. We will be back with the American Spirit Federal Credit Union post-game show here on Fox Sports 1290.
Weekly, presented by Domino's, is the place for all things Delaware football. Join me, Benny Pinella, and the voice of the Blue Hens, Scott Glanskin, every Friday at 5:30.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts. Solo Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group on the culinary coast with 10 locations. We're a chef-driven group. Come check us out. See you soon. Solo Concepts believes in the vision of our founder, Matt Haley. Cook beautiful, simple food, develop the people we work with, and make the world a better place. Solo Concepts on the culinary coast with 10 locations from Lewis, Delaware to Fenwick Island. Come check us out. Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts. Solo Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group on the culinary coast with 10 locations. We're a chef-driven group. Come check us out. See you soon. Solo Concepts believes in the vision of our founder, Matt Haley. Cook beautiful, simple food, develop the people we work with, and make the world a better place. Solo Concepts on the culinary coast with 10 locations from Lewis, Delaware to Fenwick Island. Come check us out.
Game show. Middletown, a dominating 46-0 win over the Concord Raiders here on Senior Day for the Raiders, and what will be their final game for the seniors because they do not have a Week 10 game scheduled. Greg Mitchell said he tried everything in his power to get a Week 10 game, even though the reality of it is after today's loss, a Week 10 game wouldn't have mattered one way or another. So that is one thing that the fans and, of course, the players, I don't want to say can feel good about, but certainly they're not in a situation where they could say, geez, if only we had one more game, we might have made the playoffs. That wasn't going to be the case for the Concord Raiders, who fall to 4-5 on the season. Middletown moves to 9-0, remains undefeated, and they will remain ranked number 1 in any poll you look at heading into Week 10. It was a game that took an hour and 50 minutes with a running clock almost the entire second half. The scoring is all Middletown. 3 touchdown passes from Drew Fry to Kenny Edelman, a 4-yard run by Drew Fry, a fumble return for a touchdown by Jordan Cruz, a 20-yard touchdown run by Kendrick Whitehead, and then to cap it all off, sophomore Niger Smith, playing in the game because of the lopsided score, ripped off a 70-yard run, a run that was as impressive as any we've seen all season. And speaking of impressive, Marty, this Middletown team is impressive on every side of the ball.
You keep waiting for a letdown from them, maybe a game they take off a little bit because they don't expect the level of the opponent to be the same as theirs, and it just never happens, and that goes to good coaching. Zach Blum and his staff have kind of carried on what Mark Del Percio had going here. It's an amazingly disciplined team. They've got talent everywhere, and one of the things I think that's most important is that they utilize that talent.
Right.
They use all of the receivers. They use all of the guys in the running back position, whether it's Lockwood or Johnston or Edelin or Whitehead. They get Fry running out there. They'll throw passes. They had Raekwon Green out there today. So there's so much talent, and it all gets utilized to some extent. So there's really nothing you can just focus on. They are incredibly well positioned for their 8th state title. They got a big one next week against the Hodgson team for the conference championship. They're guaranteed to be in the playoffs one way or the other, and they've got their eye on the big prize.
All right, and that's assuming Hodgson wins their game this afternoon, and that will set that Flight A championship game up next Friday night at 7:30 at Cavaliers Stadium, one of the toughest places to play. It might be the first time ever that Hodgson has played in Middletown. Because, of course, Hodgson playing in Division I for the first time. Don't know that for a fact, but just off the top of my head, I can't think of those two matching up at Middletown any time recently. Concord, on the other hand, their season is over. They do not have a Week 10 game schedule here. They are huddled up with Greg Mitchell in the middle for the last time. Concord, a program that had high hopes the past several years with the Roberts brothers coming through the system, even Bam and brother Avery, who's now at Nebraska, on this same team for a couple seasons, just were never able to pull it all together. It was one of those things, Marty, where every year you kept thinking, all right, this might be Concord's year. Never happened. We mentioned how their quarterback situation, every time it seemed we covered a game for them, their quarterback was either injured or just coming back from injury, as was the case with Kokenauer today. And so Concord just never able to pull it all together. Greg Mitchell and his coaching staff do an exceptional job. This program will be back next year. The question will be whether they will be in the state title hunt again or not. All right, when we come back, we'll announce our Crown Trophy Player of the Game and talk about our next game here on Fox Sports 1290. You're listening to the High School Football Game of the Week on Fox Sports 1290 and watching it live on 302 Sports. Once again, your final score, Middletown 46, Concord 0.
The area's largest family-owned and operated pet supply store is proud to support University of Delaware football. Concord Pet Foods and Supplies with 28 locations was started here in Delaware by Larry Muchler 36 years ago. Experience the difference in Concord Pet. Their outstanding staff will help you with everything your pet needs. Plus, the frequent buyer program allows you to earn free food, litter, and more. Visit Concord Pet Foods and Supplies online at concordpetfoods.com. Go Hens!
Hi, this is Tom Suter with Crown Trophy in People Plaza, and I'm a proud supporter of high school football and basketball on Fox Sports 1290 AM. Crown Trophy is a supplier of the weekly Fox Sports Player of the Game Award. If it's trophies you need, Crown Trophy has in every shape, style, and finish imaginable. Come see us in Newark and Wilmington, and also at crowntrophy.com. Crown Trophy, the official supplier of the Delaware High School State Championship Trophy and proud partner of Fox Sports 1290 AM.
It's hard to miss all the TV lawyer ads. Catchy slogans surround promises of maximum recovery and fighting for your rights. Hi, this is Melissa Rufo of Rufo Associates. We have decades of experience successfully handling injury claims. Our track record with auto accidents, slip and falls, and defective products cases is second to none. We let our results be our slogan. Nobody wants to need a lawyer, but if the need arises, don't take any chances. Get a strong advocate on your side. You need Rufo Associates. Visit rufolaw.com. That's RUFO law.com.
This is the American Spirit Federal Credit Union postgame show on Fox Sports 1290, foxsports1290am.com, and iHeartRadio, Fox Sports 1290.
Welcome back to Concord High School, where the Middletown Cavaliers will head to the bus with a 46-0 victory over the Concord Raiders. Middletown stretching out in their respective squads on the field. The Concord Raiders shaking a lot of hands, a lot of hugs, as it is senior day here for Concord, the last game for the seniors. Concord again without a Week 10 game. All right, it's time to announce our Crown Trophy Player of the Game. Crown Trophy, with locations in Glasgow and Wilmington, have always been proud supporters of Fox Sports 1290 and the student athletes in the state of Delaware. Visit Crown Trophy for all the best in trophies, and make sure to check out their varsity letter sports balls. Continuing with the Crown Trophy tradition, each player of the game this season will win a customized Crown Trophy award plaque, and the school will receive one as well for its trophy case. Visit crowntrophy.com. Marty, for the last game of the regular season here on Fox Sports 1290, the floor is yours.
There were a couple good individual efforts today. Drew Fry, as usual, was on target most of the time, though he did kind of fall off a bit in the second quarter there, which is something I'm sure they'll clean up in the off week before the Hodgson game. Whitehead, kind of a quiet game for him, but very effective, and he really didn't need to be because of building up the early lead with Fry. And the guy Fry was hitting consistently is the guy I'm going with as a Crown Trophy player of the game, and that's the 6'3" senior Kenny Edelin, a 91-yard touchdown pass on the first possession of the game, which Middletown takes the ball to begin the game for a reason, and that was it. A 4-yard touchdown catch and a 34-yard touchdown catch. I mean, he's so hard to contain. He's big, he's physical, and if you don't have someone who can match him with that physicality on the outside, he's going to do what he did today. So for me, the Crown Trophy player of the game is senior Kenny Edelin.
And so Edelin will get a plaque for both himself and for the Middletown showcases. He came into the game with 3 touchdowns, now has 6 on the season. So congratulations to senior Kenny Edelin, our Crown Trophy player of the game. All right, we are not on the air next weekend for Week 10 due to a very, very busy schedule, not only here on Fox Sports 1290, but all of our sister stations who we share the equipment with. And so it's a busy time of year, but we are excited.
It's basketball season.
Basketball season, that's right. Getting close. Close for high school, it is for the University of Delaware men's and women's team. But we will be on the air. We're excited to announce we will have quarterfinal action, semifinal action, and, of course, the state championship Division I game from Delaware Stadium on December 2nd. The selection committee puts out, I guess selection committee is the wrong term, the playoff committee, football committee, will make its the determinations of who is in the playoffs next Sunday morning, a week from tomorrow. And as soon as they do, we will determine what games we will be covering based on the matchups and also the station schedule. We will announce that both on our personal social media sites and, of course, the Fox Sports 1290 sites as well. So stay tuned for that announcement. But for now, that'll do it for tonight, or this morning, I should say, and the 2017 regular season for our Fox Sports 1290 coverage. A big thanks to our producer back in the studio, Benny Pinella, for keeping us up and running, and, of course, Nick Halliday and his crew here with the 302 Sports live stream. For Marty Sheehan, I'm John Busby. Once again, the final score, Middletown 46, Concord 0. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, good afternoon from Concord High School here in Wilmington.